Hey, hello everybody. I'm live. It's Redheaded Riding Hood. Call me Red for short. AJ just popped into my basement. You can hear me, but I can't hear you yet, AJ, until I bring you up. Okay? So I hope everybody's doing good. And I'm excited to get to interview AJ, and I always still get nervous. I'm nervous. And so I just got back from Philly last night. Hey, Tim just came in. Anthony's here. I think Lori was here. Lori, are you still here? Keeping up with Colorado. Welcome in, everybody. I'm going to get started. We'll just jump right in. So, hey, Tim, Pam. Hello, everybody. Hello, Glenna. So, you guys, I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in. Oh, and now, wait, are you there? There you are. Sound working?
Yeah.
Check. I can't hear you, though.
I didn't say anything.
No, darn.
Nothing? All right, hold on.
I can't hear you.
How about now?
All the way from across the ocean. I can't hear you.
Still
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Tell me in the chat if you can hear him, because I can't hear him. You hear AJ. Wait. Oh, Tim, don't tell me that.
Well, let me
Something on my side. What should I do, Tim? Tell me. Let me take him down. Let's see. Okay, say something again. Let me see if I hear you.
Something again. How about now?
This will be interesting. Let's see. Can we do this? If I can't, you tell me what he says.
Yeah, it says that that everybody can see and hear me, and I did a mic check before coming in, so still nothing.
Anthony, why is it I can't hear him? That is odd. Let me do something. I know what to do. I think I know what to do. My son showed me this. Let me try it.
I'm going to put a kettle on.
That's what it was. Oh, good. Oh, thankfully. Oh, my goodness. I can hear you now.
Okay, good.
That's it. Yeah, that's what I did. My son showed me it like a while ago. Okay. Awesome. Sorry about that, you guys. Good, you can hear me both. That's weird. It's weird, that thing. My son said it was a glitch, but I was like, show me what you did or where you went and how you did it. And so every time it does that, I just go over there. So how's it going?
It's going well. Sorry about the camera angles there.
That's okay.
4:00 in the morning, but I don't have to be to work for 3 hours, so.
Yeah, that's what I figured it was. And I was freaking out too because I have us on the TV. I have the TV on, right? And on there, on YouTube, it says we were on at 3 a.m. And I was like, wait, what? Did I set the time wrong? And I went back over here on my computer, and it says 7 because my computer is on California time. And so, yeah, so it's weird. Time zones. And I just came back from Philly from seeing my grandbaby. And so I'm like very jet lagged because I came in at like 11:30 and caught an Uber at 12 a.m.
Yeah.
And got
Yeah.
back.
When I travel back to the US, the jet lag is not as bad as when I come back here. So
Oh, really?
the key for me is to just not travel back to the US.
Not coming. Oh, that's sad.
So I'm glad to be on your channel, and I wanted to, if you don't mind, talk a little bit about how I was able to make this trip and some of the things I learned about van life here in Europe. If you,
Yeah. Yep.
unless,
Yep.
which
Yeah.
probably, all right. So just to dive right in, I had always wanted to move to Germany ever since I was a kid. So once circumstances back in the US allowed me to do this, and by that I mean like my kids had moved out, I was able to get rid of a bunch of unnecessary things in terms of, household goods and stuff like that. I applied for a few jobs out here working for the US government. It's not difficult. In fact,
Hmm.
the job that I have is nothing special. It just allows me to live here. Um, and I had to figure out what I was going to be able to accept in terms of pay because I'm paid a lot less here than I was at my old job back in the U.S. But to be fair, I had 3 jobs back in the U.S., and one of which was I was in the Army. And so once I got here, um, because I had a little bit of savings and a very large credit card, I stayed in a hotel for roughly a hotel and Airbnb, I should say, for the first 2 months that I was here before finally getting all the ducks in a row to get my van. So getting the van was the goal, and that's exactly what I did. For those of you that are listening that are interested, I applied through a website called usajobs.gov. They're all government work, in case you don't already know. It's
Ah.
not just for jobs overseas, it's for jobs in the US as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, and to be fair, that's how I got my last federal job was through usajobs.gov. Uh,
Cool.
so yeah, because of the fact that I have this job here, our 2 governments, the German government and US government, have what's called a status of forces agreement, which allows US forces and civilians to live here and work here without the typical visas that most people would need to be here in Europe. And so, yeah, I get to live here and, of course, have to work here in order to get to live here. And that's basically it. It's like really in a nutshell how that worked out.
Yeah, that's funny. Tim says, I know nothing about government job.
Yeah.
Hey, if you find that link, um, drop it. Mods for USA jobs. So,
I'd like to add another link too for anybody who's interested in applying for um, a job through USA Jobs. There's another website that helps you navigate the jargon, and it's called Fast Class. That's FASCLASS. I'm not sure if it's a .com or a .org or whatever, but if you Google that, um, it helps you line up your resume with the jargon in the job description and your responsibilities. And I would like to add, because I had another chat on another channel about this particular subject. If this is your first time looking at some of these jobs and you're like, oh my God, I don't know what this is, read the description first and see if that's something that you've done or anywhere near it. And then use the FAST class, which helps you navigate that channel, or not channel, but and it'll help you get that job. I think it's a good idea. Yeah, that's the one.
You probably did. Pam has a question. Can you apply jobs before your military contract ends?
Yes. So
Yeah, I figured you probably did.
yeah, I retired from the Army while working this job. What I did though was I got to a certain point where I no longer needed to be at my unit, and I got permission from my unit to be away for X amount of months, and it turned out to roughly be 4 months that I could be away. So yes, you can apply and you can get the job whilst you're still in your military contract.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my daughter and my son-in-law met in the Army.
Yeah.
They did. That I just visited. My daughter and my son-in-law that I just visited with my baby, my grandbaby.
Yeah.
They so my daughter is finishing up school, and he might get a job that's requiring, like, they want military. A lot of jobs like the military experience. So
There's a good
delivering.
reason that I'd like to point out, and Tim is right. When you're applying for these jobs, you tailor your resume toward the job.
Mhm.
But the main reason why a lot of U.S. companies like military employees is because, a president or two ago, maybe three ago, gave companies tax breaks when they hire veterans. So get it twisted, not all the smartest people you've ever met in your life, but we're certainly helpful for the company's bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Tim says preferably 6 months before you get out of the military.
Oh yeah, it's a process. If you are applying or thinking about applying for a government job, patience is key. The way it works is they open up a job, and then they have a closing date, and it says so right there in the job description. So you've got between the opening and the closing date to put your resume together and all this stuff. I'll fill in all that stuff means here in just a second. And then once the job closes, then they don't accept any more applications or resumes for that position, and then it goes through a computer process. And then once you get past the computer, you'll get an email saying either you were referred or you were not referred to the human resources office. And if you are referred, then it goes to a human being who then looks it over, and they determine whether or not you get an interview. And if you get an interview, great. The people who interview you ask you your questions, of course. They make a recommendation based on how the interview went, and a lot of that interview is personality. Okay. And then you can either be selected or not selected. All that other stuff, when it comes to your resume and building your profile in USA Jobs, take a picture of both sides of your driver license. If you're looking for overseas jobs, take a picture of your passport. Like, passport opens kind of like a clamshell. Flatten that one out where it shows your picture and the top page of that passport. Take a picture of that. If you had any awards, whether you think they apply or not, take pictures of that, and you upload this to your profile. All right. Any certifications, forklift operator licenses, whatever it is that you think. Well, I don't want to make anybody feel bad, but I think a lot of times we short sell ourselves. If it's something that you did at a job and you have a piece of paper or a little card or something that says so, take a picture of that, upload it to your profile, and the website's very simple. It tells you how to do that, and submit all of that, because a lot of times what's happening is you're competing against other people with similar qualifications, and one little certification, some sort of heavy equipment operator or light equipment operator license, or even a driver license period, might be the determining factor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm in the Rhineland-Pfalz, so I'm southwest Germany,
Hmm.
and I'm squinting because I am on my phone. I did actually leave my computer in work. Um,
Oh yeah. So I'm glad I sent that to you. I just like sent it to you on the link on your phone. I was like, I don't know if he's gonna be on his computer or on his phone.
yeah, um, and I work out of Germersheim, which is again in the Pfalz, um, in southwest Germany.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you do have children
Yes,
in the
but my
States?
are adult children, so they
Yeah, mine are adult too. How many
yeah.
children do you have?
I have 3,
Oh,
and that's it.
that's it.
Yeah,
No grandchildren yet?
no, bite your tongue.
Yeah, I don't want them to. I was telling I had a real great live. I wasn't gonna ask my son was in bed, so because I got in it so late at
Mm.
11:30, so I got a lift. But it was a really interesting Lyft rider, and she was telling me about like poetry groups and stuff and open mics and stuff in Denver. So it was really good.
Yeah,
Lyft ride, and I said, like, yeah, I don't want my kids to get married if they're not ready, or have kids if they're not ready. Like, no, no, not in a hurry for that.
yeah,
My my youngest is actually getting a divorce.
yeah.
Because, yeah, 'cause I didn't think that was a good idea, but I don't tell them what to do. Pam says my son is currently at Ramstein. Ramstein?
Ramstein.
Is that how you say it? Okay.
Yeah,
Contract ends in about 3 years, and he would love to stay. So it's great information to pass on. Okay.
yeah. The that's so USA Jobs is the way to apply for the government jobs here, or any U.S. government job, I should say. Um, I want to make it clear that we're talking about the federal government, so not state government. Um, so in Ramstein being one of the more, um, I don't want to say popular, but like one of the major U.S. bases out here, there's plenty of information on what's available for jobs, and then of course how to apply. So um, it's never too early to start building the profile on USA Jobs. Um, but for some reason, USA Jobs, like most U.S. government websites, require a lot of um, login authentication. So if he started it 3 years prior to getting out, um, there's a good chance he's going to have to change his password a bunch of times, or good chance that, like me, lose access to the password, lose access to the recovery number, et cetera, and have to build from scratch a brand new profile. So it's kind of one of those things where you want to weigh the differences, or weigh the time.
Hmm.
So Vanlife in Germany.
Yeah.
I will tell you that it was -5 Celsius today. It the first time I had proper frost in and outside of my windows. But it's pretty awesome here. Germany is a wonderful, wonderful, safe country to live in, and to be in a vehicle in. There are plenty of people who do it. Um,
Hmm.
I would say, and by that I'm separating the retirees who are kind of weekend warriors. Um,
Mhm.
but I have come across some people that are living in their RV or their van full time. And it's pretty simple. There are rules. I wouldn't call them strict rules, but rules against wild camping here in Germany. And what that is, basically, it's not allowed. Um,
Is
but
that like boondocking would be here, or what is wild
yeah,
camping
yeah, same.
defined? Okay.
Can't just pull up to some place and throw your chairs out and your awning and hang out for weeks on end. Even in the woods,
Yeah.
not allowed. So the way you get around that is you just don't do that unless you're in a designated area to do so, which there are plenty. And then parking is incredibly easy here. There are just all kinds of places to park, and I don't mean just even in the small towns or up in the mountains. I'm talking about even in the major cities. I've traveled to a lot of the major cities, not all of them, but a lot of them, and I've had no trouble parking at all.
Mm-hmm.
I've not had any issue with anybody messing with my van. I woke up and left a place twice because some people were partying and it was the old man hour for me, and I didn't want to be bothered with the noise, and so I just went somewhere else. So, like I travel to France a lot because it's far away. There's no border check or none of that sort of thing. You can drive anywhere in Europe within the Schengen area, which is for those who don't know, it's like the agreement within Europe and within the European Union to have kind of open borders and freedom of travel. I think that the English, since Brexit, they have to probably go through some things, but I see their plates all over Germany and France anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
it's simple. I don't have to show my passport when I go to France. I don't have to talk to anybody, officially. When I went to Austria, same thing. So
Yeah. I saw in the video you just drove drove into France.
it
I was like, it's that simple, huh? Yeah.
really is like crossing from one state to the next in the U.S.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So are there any so there's no state parks or national parks or stuff like that?
So
Or
I run into any of those. All of the forests in Germany are they're like federal forests or whatever. Everybody has rights to go into them, no matter where you're from. But you can't like if I were in the U.S. and I wanted to like go way past the parking area of a typical BLM forest or that sort of thing, I would drive in and find a nook, and I would be fine. Here, it's not quite like that, but there are designated parking areas which are plentiful, and then you can go in and do what you want to do in the woods, and then just come home. So, kind of a
yeah, different.
yeah.
Pam wants to know what type of rig do you have?
So I have a what would be considered in the United States a Dodge Ram, but I say it has an Italian face. So it is the Ram chassis, but it's called a Fiat Ducato, and it is the mid-range. I in terms of length, it's the mid-length one. I don't remember what they are in terms of feet in the US, but mine is the 5.99 meters long, and I think it's about 3 meters tall. So it's a diesel engine, unlike the Ram vans in the United States. So it doesn't have the power that the 15 or 2500 has, but it's got incredible fuel economy. And even when I've traveled in the mountains here in Germany, I've had no problems getting where I needed to go. It didn't feel underpowered. Yeah. And I have everything I need. Like I'm in my house right now. So right behind me is my bathroom, which has a shower and a toilet. To my right, kitchen, which has my house is a mess, so I'm not going to give you a tour. That's my 2-burner hub, and then there's the sink that I need to do dishes. In front of me, of course, is where I drive. I'm sitting in the kitchen / place to sit, I guess. Yeah.
And you named it Klaus. I don't know if I
Yeah.
spelled that. I don't know if I spelled that right. Claus.
No, it's K
No, it's
K
with a
L
K.
O. And the reason for that is because my license plates, that's how it worked out. Like I didn't get vanity plates. I'm not even sure if you can do that, but the ones that were issued for my van um, are KL, and then there's a little bitty circular sticker between the US and the KL, so it's KLOUS, and that's why it's class.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
What else you want to know?
So you said the pay is less, like what, how is the economics? Like, are you on, is it, I guess what I'm basically wanting to ask is it more expensive or less expensive to do van life in Germany? Do you think?
It is, I think, similar for my,
Similar, just about
yeah.
the same.
The difference for me
Close.
specifically, I should say my specific situation, because I'm here working for the U.S. government, and put your ears on anybody who's interested. I don't pay German tax here, which means that when because I bought my van here, brand new, I didn't have to pay tax, and the tax on this van would have been 9,500 euros, roughly 9,500 US. Um, and that's because whilst here under the Task Forces Agreement, we get value added tax, um, deferment forms, I guess they're called, and
Mhm.
for any purchase over 2,500 euros, you pay $90 to Uncle Sugar, and they give you a form. You take that form with you, and your purchase is tax deferred. For anything under 2,500 euros, like 24.99, you pay a little less for the form. Uh, but I only used the form once to purchase my van, so I saved almost 10K just in taxes alone.
Wow. Yeah.
For diesel has actually gone down significantly since I've moved here. The last I saw it was €1.75 per liter, whereas when I first moved here, it was €2 a liter. But I don't pay the local um, price because I have a special card that I have to use at the Esso gas station, uh, which are all over Europe. And I pay whatever the going rate is in the US or whatever the average is in the US minus the German taxes. So I save money on fuel in that way. The registration for my vehicle, where I got my plates, um, I bought it for 3 years and it cost $90 US for 3 years worth of registration. So there is some give and take. Yeah, sometimes the food's a little bit more expensive, but I don't eat much in the first place. Um,
Mhm.
but all that is offset by the tax advantages that I have here as a member of the U.S. government under the Status of Forces Agreement. So
I see.
it's kind of neat, I plan to buy my van here brand new anyway, but I did come here with a decent enough credit score to do that. So there is a bank called Service Credit Union that services Americans living overseas, and they were really easy to navigate. So
Hmm. Yeah,
um,
that's
to
transaction.
answer, yeah, I'll answer the question. Yeah, so mine's the mid-range, which mid-range engine size. I don't have like TVs and fancy things in here, but I've got a pretty fancy cockpit, giggity.
Nice fan.
It costs 50,100 euros, so roughly $50,000.
Hmm.
Now, that might sound daunting, but I don't pay for another car. I don't pay for an apartment. I just pay for my van, which is my car, as we all know. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, that saves a lot. Yeah, this was something I was wondering too. Are there RV parks there?
Yes, there are plenty of they call Stellplatz, uh, where you can plug into the grid and get water, dump your gray and black water, um, and do all of the kind of camping stuff that you would do, with the chairs and the awning and the barbecue grills and that. So yes, there are a lot of that. The thing is that typically paid parking, and I'm too cheap to go pay park. So um, here at work, because I'm parked up at work at the minute, I don't sleep here, um, but it was easier to make sure that I didn't have to rush to get here. So I just parked here this morning for this moment here.
Mhm.
Um, Free place to dump my toilet and dump my gray water. I could, I guess, if I wanted to get potable water here, but I'm a little leery. Um, Military bases have not had the best history when it comes to taking care of the water supply for their people, so I don't get fresh water here at all. Uh,
Mhm.
I can shower in my van because I have a water heater, and of course I have a regular heater. Um, I should say a regular house heater. The water heater that I'm sitting on top of also heats the main part of the van.
Mhm.
But I can shower for free at work as well, so I take advantage of that, especially this winter where I don't want to risk anything breaking because of freezing pipes, etc. Yeah, I see this last comment about RVs being cheaper in Europe. I tell you, this is a fully outfitted camper van. Like
Yeah, I would say that would be 80,000, $100,000 over here, wouldn't it?
it
It's
close
a
to
nice, it's a nice van.
yeah, the Travado I think is the equivalent in the U.S. But even a regular Ram cargo van with nothing in it, I think brand new those things are going for 60K in the U.S., aren't they? Plus or
Um,
minus.
I'm
So
I'm not really familiar with it, but I know like yeah, I'm not specifically familiar with specifics, but I know like I would think a van that's like yours, a new one would be like
I actually found this van before I left the United States through a website called Truck One. So truck, the number one, all one word.
oh,
And they host a lot of different companies here in Europe that sell both new and used vehicles. There is another company in the Netherlands called Happy Campers Europe.
is
They
it
have,
.net or .com?
I think it's a dot,
.net.
no, EU, Echo Uniform.
Oh,
To answer your question, simply see, I made some cabbage. I found the world's smallest cabbage finally. It's like as big as a softball. Um, and I cooked some bratwurst and chopped that all up with some onion, and that was dinner last night.
he makes
So,
some good food. I mean, I was just watching some videos.
yeah,
Now to prepare for this, I even like your salad with just like that's good, like lettuce and avocado and tomato. That's good. That's a
yeah,
good salad for me. Yeah.
yeah. That Tim's correct on that. It's ridiculous. And let's talk insurance. So I've got insurance through a German company called Allianz, and from stem to stern and everything inside, I'm covered for 955 euros a year. So, and it's a little bit better than what I was paying for my old Ford van back in the US. But to be fair, I also had a car up until I think a month or so before I moved uh, to Germany. So, um, I know a lot of folks that are they have the traditional cars and apartments and that sort of thing here, and they're using the typical American um, insurance companies like USAA and Geico. and they're paying way too much money for auto insurance for these little raggedy cars that they're driving. But hey, that's what you do with your money. Not my business.
Yeah.
So
So I was looking at a video and you were hiking and seeing a lot of castle ruins.
yeah,
That looked really interesting. Oh, Lori's back. Hey, Lori. Welcome back. Yeah, it was really beautiful. The scenery and the
it's easy to do this sort of thing here. In fact, a lot of times when I'm finding these castle ruins, it's by accident. There are, websites and apps and all that sort of thing that have these things mapped out. But for me, it's kind of like a discovery. Yeah, I know they're here, but I just would rather get out there in the woods and then, trip over one than, spend the whole day trying to find the damn thing because my map's wrong or my Wi-Fi is not working properly out there in the woods. So, yeah, it's pretty amazing to be here. I try not to seem overly excited about things in my videos because I don't want it to come off as being disingenuous. But for me, for a guy like me who's always wanted to be here, even since I was a kid, um, everything is incredible and brand new, and yeah, it's good times.
so.
And in fact, here,
Were your parents military? Is that how you got familiar with it when you were a
no,
kid? Or?
I'm the only one. I'm the only one in my family who's ever been in the military, and no, I when I was in elementary school, I went to Catholic school, and we had to take French, and I had a wonderful French teacher from the French side of Canada. I can't remember exactly where, but either way. And then when I started high school, I went to public school, and I had a teacher who was an American who spoke French really well. And so that was the path that I was going. I was really into learning the French language. And then I had to go to schools and go to another public school. And I had a teacher I'll never forget, wonderful lady. She sounded like an American speaking French. And as snobby as that might sound, I had like wonderful teachers leading up to this last one. And it sounded really to me like dragging nails down a chalkboard. It was tough to hear. And so I switched over to German after the first semester of the 10th grade. And I had a teacher that was engaging and really then we didn't just learn from the book. We learned, cultural things and songs, and we all had different names. We weren't called our given names. We were called our German name in class, all these things, And although I always had an interest in Europe, initially it was an interest in France. And then like it just kind of 160 to 180'd on me into Germany. And I remember getting scolded for staring at a picture of this place that's pretty famous in terms of pictures of Germany. And I came here in 2019 for my last job, and I had more money than I knew what to do with, and Uncle Sam was paying for my rent-a-car. So I went and I took a picture in that very spot. Unfortunately, I didn't save it. It didn't save to the cloud, but yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I bogarted all 39 minutes of this live, so I'm gonna
Well,
talk.
I don't even have to. You've made it easy. I don't have to ask you anything, and then everybody's asking you questions in the chat. So, but yeah, I was uh, watching. Like I don't think I've ever seen a castle ruin. I think that would be interesting to see. And I'm hoping to go. I'm hoping to go to Europe in 2023. Hopefully. I actually joined remote year. Uh, Here's Carol from Michigan. Thank you for lurking. Welcome in. Thank you for showing yourself.
Hey, Carol from Michigan, or Michigan Carols. Yeah.
Yeah, you were
Yeah.
in Michigan when I met you on YouTube. Not
Yeah. I
really.
was living there. I'm not from Michigan. I am originally from Washington State. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah, but I lived, gosh, was it 10 years? Yeah, 10 years in Michigan before finally being able to break free. But to be fair, I was married to a Michigander. My kids were growing up in Michigan, so it was tougher to leave um,
Hmm.
soon as I wanted. But I don't hate Michigan. It does rank in my top probably five states that if I had to move back to the United States, I would live in. But the other four would have to probably sink into the ocean before I did that. Sorry.
The other four states. The,
Um, Washington State, of course, Oregon, Hawaii, um, probably the Utah, Colorado area, and then Michigan.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm liking it here in Denver, but I don't know. Um, I'm enjoying not having the responsibility of owning a sticks and bricks right now. Just throwing my money away on rent. But anyways, I'm glad to not have because we owned houses for 30 years. What my oldest son is 32. Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, but definitely thinking on it. But I joined the remote year thing, and I don't know if I did this prematurely or not, but I might go like on a 1 month trip. And so now I'm planning on going back to Philly to see my granddaughter in maybe April.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I hope to maybe get over there in 2023. So
There's another
hopefully.
way to tell you about called Happy Campers Europe, and
Hmm.
they have a pretty awesome program. They're out of the Netherlands. It seemed like I said something about this earlier, but so what you can do is you can buy an RV or a camper van from them, brand new or used, um,
Hmm.
and before you leave their lot, they take care of all of the registration and insurance. Excuse me, the stuff that you need as a foreigner in Europe. Um, and then they have a buyback program. So
Hmm.
you negotiate what the terms will be before you take off in your rig, and then you stay here in Europe for 6 months or 1 month or a year, however long, and then when you're done, you bring the vehicle back to the Netherlands, and you get whatever money that you guys negotiated back, and then off back to the U.S. or whatever country you come from, you go. It's
Yeah.
because it's not actually as easy as coming to Europe and have a vehicle. You have to have an address here, and you have to be able to register your vehicle. Um, it's not very easy to live off grid. Um,
Hmm.
quiet as it's kept, one of the ways that I've managed is because my job issues me a army post office box, but that doesn't always work for the Germans computer system or whatever. So I just borrow one of the people's address that I work with. I've never been to
Oh.
that apartment, but that's kind of now my address. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was a question I had, and I didn't write down my questions like I should have. That was a question I asked because that was a thing. You need to have an address. You need to have an address. Like when I was in the St. Louis area, I had an Illinois, um, license plate. Sorry about that. I had, an Illinois driver's license. I used my friend's address there.
Hmm.
Um, you know, and I got my tags for my RV there. And yeah, it was funny because when I went and I was thinking of buying a place in San Diego area, but it's
Yeah.
like so expensive. And when I went to camp down at Coronado Island, the guy's like, "Oh, wow, you're a long ways from home," and I'm like, "No, not really," because I'm from California, and that was one of the places I was thinking of settling. But actually, I'm thinking I might buy like a tiny house here now.
Yeah.
To me, it's I don't know. It's where my kids are. Like, I definitely want to go to Europe, and I was thinking of doing like a 6 months trip with remote year. And I heard about that on the 30 and a Wake Up channel.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of 30 and a Wake Up, but he was
Yeah.
military, and now he next year um, in 2023 he's going to be on cruise ships
Hmm.
for the whole year traveling, and he did van life for a little while
Yeah. He had a
in Thailand. Yeah, he had a Travado,
yeah.
and yeah. So, and he was based in the St. Louis area too, and I think his mom was there. But that's how I heard about remote year. And so, but now they have shorter trips too. So I'm thinking since like I joined it, I'll do like a 1 month trip or something. And I've never been to Hawaii. I've never been overseas. I've only been to Mexico and like Canada. So yeah, I definitely
To be
want
fair, it's
to.
a lot further than a lot of people that I've known has traveled. So, you know, don't sell Mexico or Canada short. It's a good place to visit.
Yeah, it is. Um,
I would say that the long term at some point when I'm able to finally quit working completely, because I've retired from the military, but I still uh, work my current job. Um, the goal is to bomb around Europe, and then depending on how the situation is on the planet with our ability to get along with one another, I'll either go east, um, or I will have my van shipped to Canada and cruise through Canada and back down into the US, um, and then into Mexico. I think that would be pretty neat. So,
mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I did Airbnb in my house in Georgia for 2 years, and I had some international guests, and I don't know how this guy did it. He was he was an interesting character. I had a Russian guy and his girlfriend, and they flew in to Los Angeles, I guess, and they bought a VW Bug and they
Mm.
drove it across the country. And then they
Yeah.
were gonna they found that was uh cheaper. They just bought it, and I guess we're gonna sell it when they were done when they got back. And so yeah, it was very interesting doing that. So
Yeah. I know you're winding down on time. If anybody has any other questions, I'm happy to
yeah.
answer my ability. So,
Mhm. So, what is your area of expertise? What kind of work do you do? I think my earring just
um,
fell.
the work that I do is not my area of expertise. I work in and I do inventory management. So that's a fancy word for me around a warehouse. They generally put about uh, 10 to 15 kilometers on my feet a day. Um, but yeah, so just to kind of put a pin on the whole job thing, I scattershotted jobs out here. Um, my area of expertise is diving, like commercial diving. That's what I went to school for. That's what I love doing. I've only done that for 5 years out of my,
Diving?
yes, as an underwater. And
Oh, okay.
I've only
Interesting.
done that work for 5 years, and the rest of the time, because I was active duty, and then I took 5 years off, and then I went back into the military, and I haven't dove since coming back into the military in 2007. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, I just have a very, uneventful job here, but the job is a means to an end. It's not anything special. You know, it baffles some of my American coworkers when I don't, when they talk to me about opportunities to move up within this, field. And like, man, I make enough money to do what I need to do. Um, but I'm not here for the money. I'm here for the job, or I'm sorry, for the Germany, not the job.
You're here for the experience and the adventure and all
Yeah.
that.
Otherwise, I had to just stay in the United States if I was worried about money and upward mobility and all of that.
Hmm.
Um, it's it's amazing to me, the feeling of being kind of removed from that whole idea of having to, you know, every day clamor and scratch your way to the top of a, company that doesn't really care about you anyway until you decide to show up to work late. Um,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
I've
I,
been far removed from that. And I'm just really blessed. And I wasn't when I felt like I needed the job, I wasn't able to get the regular job. And I didn't like your whole thing you're saying about experience. Like everybody had more experience than me, and I hadn't worked, I hadn't been in the job force for 30 years. And so, like, I was too old. There was plenty of people applying that were younger, and like, oh, I tried everything, but the Airbnb thing worked out good for me to do that for 2 years and then be able to sell the house because it was in our divorce agreement that um, my ex was paying off the smaller house, and then I would get that, and so then I was able to sell it, and it just all worked out. And then um, my dad passed away, and uh, he was 92, so and he had a good life, and you know I've been blessed with that, and I'm hoping to uh, get my writing going and get this YouTube going. So,
yeah,
and it's like if things get, I was like, well, I can also go back to Lyft driving. I guess that's a thing here. So, paid $100 for my Lyft ride from the airport at 12 a.m. So, but yeah, I'm blessed and don't want to be in the rat race.
yeah, it's uh, I guess maybe we figure these things out, the older we get, because I was very ambitious, and and all that a long time ago, but I also had I think, tolerance to be able to be ambitious and still go have experiences. But the balance never seemed to be there. So, now I'm just about the experiences. And again, my job is,
Mhm.
I'll be going back to France this weekend to, I think, Europe's largest Christmas market. Um, Not because we're just, but because in a previous YouTube interview, they had a contest, and the winner got to pick which country I spent my first Christmas in. So France it is. But
Yeah.
I'm incredibly excited. I've got a couple of French coworkers who have, one took me around her hometown, and her and another one of her friends
I
gave
saw
me a
that.
tour. Yeah, it was wonderful. So yeah, I'll be in Strasbourg, and I am looking forward to not only making the video but just having the experience. One of the things about my videos is that you're getting probably a tenth of what I'm experiencing, because a lot of times, one, admittedly, I sometimes forget to push the button to turn the camera on.
I've done that.
Oh,
But
right.
your editing is very good. What do you use to edit your videos?
iMovie.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm cheap.
I have
Um,
that on my phone. Yeah. Does that
yeah,
just come with my phone?
it comes with your phone, and if you have a MacBook, it comes with that as well. So I
Yeah,
do
my
edit.
granddaughter opened it up and I was like, I don't know why, I have that. And my daughter was like, I think it came with your phone.
Yeah. Um, and not just the inability to push the button and make sure that it's actually on, but also I'm just having way too much fun to make videos. Um, and so I get kind of wrapped up in the fun and forget that, oh yeah, there are people back in the US and people here in Europe now that want to see what it is that I'm doing. So
Hey, Dan.
hi, Dan. Sorry, I'm squinting. If I put my glasses on, which are still fogged up from then, yeah, because it's so cold in my van because I didn't turn my heater on, um, my face warms them up and I can't see, so it's pointless to put them on.
There's Loves You from the Philippines. I want to go there sometime too, but I don't, but not 2023. 2023, I think, is going to be Europe and Hawaii, hopefully. Let's see.
Yeah, I think it would be pretty neat. And if you wind up coming to Europe, maybe we can stay in contact, and maybe we can have a meetup for a coffee or whatever, and you can get a firsthand tour of this van, which I need to clean up.
Yeah,
It'd be
yeah,
unbelievable. Yeah.
definitely, definitely. I need to log in. I haven't even been on the remote year site. I need to get back on there and see what trips are over there for like the month long ones. Now that I now that I have a granddaughter, and it's just like I don't know that I want to be gone for 6 months. But hey, there's Hilda. Hello, Hilda. We're about done. We're about wrapping up. Who has any more questions for AJ?
To answer your question, Hilda, France is incredible. And I will say, especially to the American audience, we have been lied to about the French people. They are wonderful, wonderful people, very patient. I don't speak French. I hit a couple people with the bonjour one day, when I was walking around, and they were very receptive to that. But I, to be fair, spent a lot of time around the bordering part of France and Germany. So a lot of people on the French side speak German, so that's helpful for me. Um, and then, in contrast, a lot of the Germans on the German side speak French. So, but even if you don't speak German or you don't speak French, there's a fair amount of English here. And I would like to say, for anybody coming to any country, most people who don't have English as their first language learn book English. So if you don't slow your words down and enunciate, it's difficult for them to understand you. And I found that to be true or opposite when I'm talking to people who are German here. They're not speaking book German. They're speaking, like we do as Americans regionally, with the slang and the dialect and the accents and all that. So I thought my German was really good until I talked to somebody from the Verzerland, and they speak Pfälzisch Deutsch, and it was tough to deal with. But now I'm good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pam agrees with you.
Yeah,
When she was in Paris and Germany, she felt welcomed.
yeah.
That's
They
good. Yeah.
not just because you're a tourist. Um, I think it's mostly just because they're just genuinely nice people. So I've never had an issue here at all. Never.
Yeah. Definitely go, Hilda, if you're able to. Definitely yes. Right, AJ?
Yes,
Think about
yes,
what
yes,
you need
yes.
to go.
You know, I technically I will not be in France for Christmas Day, but because I'll be there this weekend, that'll be my Christmas. And the reason why I won't be in France for Christmas Day is because the Christmas market is closed, I'm told, on Christmas Day in Strasbourg. So there's no point.
Hmm.
Our area is so short-handed. Am I back? Yeah. A bunch of us volunteered to come in on the 26th, which is the observed holiday. Um, so I didn't want to drive all the way back from
Hmm.
France on the day that I got to be at work at 6 o'clock in the morning. So
Hmm. So Christmas is on the 26th there? Is that
no, so I have to, as an American working here for an American company, U.S. government. I have all of the American holidays off, and so for federal employees or state employees, probably the same in the U.S. Because Christmas is on a Sunday, it's observed on the holiday itself. For the day off is observed on the Monday after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so no, the Christmas is Christmas. I think no matter where you go,
Well,
it's a lot involved here in Germany, though, a lot more. So I work with these older ladies that are German. One lady's from Poland, the other ladies are from Germany, and they're constantly bringing in cakes that are, for this time of year, chocolates, baked goods. I'm getting, and I'm okay with that.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank Dan. Nice to meet you too. Is that 822? Is that what that says in his name?
A A to Z
Oh,
Dan. It's well, he was known by Cargo Dan, but then he changed his name. A to Z Dan.
yeah, the plan is after this weekend where I'm going to start to slow down the festivities because I'm making up for a lot of years of not being in Germany. And it's tomorrow my 6 month living here. So
Oh wow.
yeah, I'm going to start more videos specifically about my van and specifically about where I park, that sort of thing, just to kind of bring it back into the whole van life thing. And then um, right around the corner, we have New Year's Eve, and I'm already being bothered about what I'm doing on that day. I don't know yet. Um, if anything, I'd like to just kind of curl into a little ball under my blankets and go to sleep.
Yeah, I'm not a big New Year's person. Um, yeah. I'm not a big partier. But probably go eat with my son. What my son and his friend. He moved here with his best friend from grade school,
Mhm.
Albert. So like I think we're probably gonna go out to eat. We may do that for New Year's too. But
Okay.
I cooked all this food for Thanksgiving. It was ridiculous. 3 people. Like, what am I doing? Cooking too much food. But anyways, I put some food in the freezer and gave them a lot of leftovers. So it was good.
Yeah, I see your tree in the background. I bought some little fairy lights. That's about the extent of my marketing.
This was my RV tree, the tree I had in my RV.
Yeah, I kind of hated Christmas for a very long time in life, up until I started my own family. But then, to be fair, I got into it for their sake. Uh, but it's tough to not like Christmas here in Europe. It really is tough. if you're a Grinch, it'll soften you right up real quick.
Yeah, there were a lot of people with lights up in my daughter's neighborhood.
Yeah.
Lots of lights.
Thank you, I'm sorry,
Yes,
Adventure.
thanks for being on here with me. Appreciate it. Thanks everybody for coming in. Some of y'all, we got like twice as many people here now that we're about done. But
Well, I mean, if anybody needs a recap, especially if they just got in, happy to talk your ear off for another few minutes.
okay, if you got a few minutes. Anybody that just came in have any more questions? You like my tree a lot. Yeah, I got my tree at Target and it was on sale and I got all new. I left most of my decorations and stuff in Georgia for my kids and whatnot.
Yeah.
And mostly so it's been fun getting like new things. Not too much stuff, but got a sofa, got a bed, got a
Yeah.
TV stand.
I know what you mean. I moved to Germany with 2 suitcases and 2 carry-ons. That was everything that I collapsed my entire life into that.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
even a little too much for me because, it's not that I'm ultra minimalist or anything like that, but I knew that this is where I was going to be in this platform. I had already studied this fan before I moved out of the US. So, there's lots of room, even with the stuff that I have in here. In fact, I think if Tim was in here, Tim would find new and improved ways to store things in here for sure.
For sure, he would.
He is.
Yeah, I was able to downsize so much that I fit everything I owned in my car to go up to the St. Louis area. And then I did the same thing again. I got rid of a little bit of stuff and I had clothes I got from my sister-in-law and stuff. And I got rid of a little bit more stuff and I fit everything I owned again just stuffed it in my car when I moved from the St. Louis area here to Denver. So I like everything. And when I was traveling around in my RV, I fit everything I owned in my RV. So, but there was a lot of room in my RV.
Well, so yeah.
Yeah, it was a 31-foot.
Yep.
Sure, sure, Lori, we'll help you. We'll help you do your first live. Yeah, and I can do my little ticker. I have a little ticker with my email. Mine is just redheadedwritinghood@gmail.com. Old-fashioned Christmases. Yeah, you've been over there, Hilda, haven't you? I thought because she has family in the military.
Yeah, it's
Just kidding.
The different Binox marks, the different Christmas markets that I've been to. I went to one in a city, I went to one in a small town, and I went to one in a small village, and they all are unique in their way. I mean, they all have Glühwein, which is great, but they all are very unique in their approach to Christmas. Unfortunately, the last Christmas market that I went to in France, a lot of my footage was corrupted, so I can't make a video out of it. But
no.
that they had that I think you would love. They have a public fire pit, which would probably be, it's a circle with bricks. It's not in the mud. I think that circle was probably about 25 yards diameter, and it was a rectangular birch kind of thing that they made around it, so nobody fell into it. But yeah, you just throw some wood in there and you stand around and you drink your wine or your coffee or your beer or whatever it is that they're serving you there, and everybody was doing that, and I kind of snuggled up to it myself. It was great, you know.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
like just public fire pit right there was one of the cooler things about that experience for me.
Yeah, those are all over Denver. We have
Right,
one at my apartment out right out there
that's
by the
awesome.
pool and the hot tub. Yeah, it's nice, especially in the fall. People are always out there
Nice.
um, around it, and it's gas, so they just like turn it on.
Oh yeah, no, this was wood burned. So, yeah, but the gas I guess is neat
It's
too.
convenient, very easy. Um, so Carol was asking about. I believe his kids are grown and in the States.
Yes, they are in the U.S. So
Mhm.
my oldest is telling me she wants to apply for a position out here as well, so she could live here. Um, but I mean, we'll see how it goes. I hope she does. I think it would be a good experience for her. Um, and let's not get it twisted. Yes, I miss my children every day. I love them the most. Um, I was a single parent for quite a while, so like, and by that I mean like they lived with me. But then
Mhm.
got grown and decided that they wanted to be on their own, and that's fine. Um, there was no way I could stop it anyway. Um,
Yeah, on their own is good if they're grown.
yeah,
Good thing. It's a good thing.
yeah, but I'm glad that they're doing well, um, and
Mhm.
selfishly that I'm freed up to do what I want to do. Now, I don't know if I'm going to irritate anybody by saying this, but I've lived for others for a very, very long time. Between parents, um, family members, ex-wives, um, children, my job. It's time for me to live for me. I don't
Yeah,
have very many years left on this planet. It's time to go get out there and
yeah.
uh,
That's
be
my that's sort of my motto too. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, yeah. Although I don't think I would actually, I probably wouldn't live in another, especially now that I have a grandbaby too. I don't know, but the 6 months thing I could still consider doing with remote year. And I signed up for that because I was like, how can I go to another country where I don't know the language and I don't know anything? And so year seemed like a good solution for me to be like, because you're in a group and then, they plan on where you go and all of that. And it just sounded like a good option for me.
yeah.
So we'll see.
I came here with a significant amount of German because I
Yeah,
learned
you
it.
already knew it.
Obviously, forgot a lot of it. So the whole COVID time I spent learning German online. Um,
Mhm.
but you don't have to speak it here. There
Mhm.
are Americans that I work with that have lived here for pushing 20 years who could barely squeeze out a sentence in German. And even a couple of guys I know that are married to Germans who have been here for 10 years that don't speak German at home. They barely can speak any of it at all. So,
Mhm.
although I felt a little judgy about that, to be fair, um, I understand. It's just not for some people. I'm not here because I want to work in the awesome job that I have. I'm here because I want the German experience, and language, and all of that. So I'm opposite end of the coin to most of my American counterparts here. So
Hmm. Mhm. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I sort of felt like the first place I wanted to go overseas was Europe because England, because I know a lot of people speak English there, so, and especially England, of course.
and speak English,
So
Yeah. I mean, honestly, you find a lot of English, but it's not a guarantee. I think in my experience, the older the person, like people my age, don't speak a lot of English. Younger than, especially the I don't know, 30 and under crowd, there's a fair amount of English. So,
mm,
um, you know, Germans are taught English from I think the kindergarten, first grade time frame, and they continue throughout school. So uh, they don't start learning foreign languages in high school like most of us did in the U.S. Yeah.
mm,
So, and then for Hilda, real quick, wo warst du geboren? She was born in Germany.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm curious where.
Yeah.
I'm being nosy.
Um, yeah, where were you born? I think her family was military. Was your family military, Hilda? I think her family was military.
With a name like Hilda, she
I don't know.
probably American father. I don't know Hilda. I'm not making trouble.
Oh, she'll tell us, I'm sure.
Yeah. She was saying something about Austria in one of her posts.
Um, let's see. Okay. So she said, in Austria, when I was little, back in the late 60s, early 70s, at my grandparents, there was a guy that dressed up as old Saint Nick, and he had toys to the good kids. Bad kids got cold.
Yeah.
Oh,
I learned about I'm gonna mess this guy's name up. It's not Von Trapp, it's something else Trapp. But that's the European or the French probably specific Grinch that I wish that my videos weren't so messed up because there's a pretty scary picture of this guy. But yeah, they freak the little kids out here, from what I'm told. Um,
oh no.
Hans Trap is what it is. Hans Trap comes if you're a bad kid, and he takes you away, and you don't get any Christmas if you survive at all. It sounds like.
Oh,
But
isn't there
yeah,
a horror movie about that? Evil, like Santa person that I forget what it's called. Yeah, that sounds like that horror movie is about that. Like an evil Santa person that comes takes them away. Yeah, so she says, if I want to move back to Germany, I can. I have dual citizenship. I'm an American, but I have a German birth certificate too, an American one. Born in Germany through the military. Yeah, that's what I
yeah,
thought she had said before.
yeah.
Well, I guess we can close up.
Okay.
Thanks, Lori. Thank you so much, JJ.
Thank you for having me on, and thank you to your subscribers for all the great questions.
Yeah.
Do plan at some point, not too distant future, to make a video a little bit more specific about how I was able to get the job that I've got and move here, all that. So
Yeah. Yeah. So go over and subscribe. You should drop that link again, Tim. Are you in the
uh,
car driving or something?
I would like to say only subscribe if you want to watch the video. Don't do it just because I do appreciate that, but YouTube will wind up kicking you off anyway. So if you're not really interested in the whole van life experience in Germany, or watching my sometimes shaved, sometimes bearded face, um, then don't subscribe. It's, again, YouTube kicks you off if you don't like watch videos and all that stuff, and we are all busy. Get it?
Yeah. I watch like when I can. I don't
Yeah,
know. There's so many videos. I just like there's so many I want to watch, like
yeah, I
all the
catch up on
videos
as well.
that I binge here and there.
Yeah. Now, what I'm gonna do today, especially Tim, if you're still listening, I'm gonna put your videos on, and I'm gonna do dishes, and that's after work, of course. So yeah, I will catch up. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not caught up on Tim's either. But thanks so much, everybody. Thanks, AJ.
Thank you very much. Have a great
Good night, y'all.
yeah, or good night,
Thanks,
I
y'all,
guess.
for coming in. Yeah, good night. Good morning to AJ. Hope you have a great day, AJ.
I hope you do too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.